Welcome to this, your daily 180 Bible study. We are going to begin a series today about the submissive characteristic of Jesus. Jesus was submissive. And as we think about Jesus' submissiveness and we think about our obligation to be like Jesus, we realize that we too must have that nature about us, that characteristic about us, that we must be willing to submit to God. In Philippians chapter 2, we find a recipe in there for real harmony and peace that can occur within the church, within the home, and within our greater community. In verse number 1, he begins by saying, "Therefore, if there is any consolation in Christ, if any comfort of love, if any fellowship of the Spirit, if any affection and mercy." Now listen to verse number 2. "Fulfill my joy by being like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, and of one mind." And then he goes on and he talks about how we should conduct ourselves. "Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others." Wow, wouldn't that be wonderful if everyone conducted themselves that way? Well, what's the basis for such conduct? Look at verse number 5. "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." We need to think like Jesus. Some translations say, "Let this attitude be in you." I like the idea of the mind. We need a mind transplant. We need to have the mind of Christ. Well, what was the mind of Christ? Look at verse 6. "Who being in the form of God did not consider it robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant and coming in the likeness of men." Do you see this? He lived in the glory of heaven, in the very presence of God, and God the Father and God the Son had perfect fellowship with one another, and he leaves all that behind, came to earth as a servant. Furthermore, listen to verse number 8. "And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross." Even the death of the cross. An instrument of shame and rejection and cruelty. Why did he do that? Because he was submissive to the Father's will. Join us again tomorrow.